My younger sister, Sophie Sayer, got pregnant before marriage, gave birth to a baby boy in a small clinic, and then disappeared. My parents knelt before me, tears streaming down their faces.
Please, we beg you.
Mom sobbed, clutching my hand.
You're the only one who can raise him. We can't let our grandson end up in an orphanage.
Dad added hoarsely.
You're our daughter. You'll do this for the family, right?
When I finally managed to raise him, Sophie came back, standing beside a big-shot boss dripping in gold. She held her son and burst into tears.
Sister, how could you be so cruel? You knew he was mine, yet you stole him from me all these years.
She wailed dramatically.
You were jealous of me, weren't you? You wanted to tear us apart.
My nephew cut ties with me without hesitation, choosing her over me. My parents kicked me out of the house. The neighbors all condemned me. In despair, I jumped to my death. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day Sophie gave birth. The sky had only just begun to lighten when someone started pounding on my front door, the sound jolting me awake with a sheet of cold sweat. I shot upright, hurried to the door, and pulled it open. A familiar face stood there. In my previous life, this was the exact moment when the clinic doctor came crashing into my world. Dr. Leonard Price had, in front of all of them, he had shoved a baby into my arms and scolded me, accusing me of giving birth and refusing to take responsibility. Belonged to my younger sister. My parents begged me to keep him. Since I had no plans to marry, I had agreed. Later, I hated myself endlessly for making that choice. The moment I saw his face again, a chill swept through me.
Lynn Sawyer, you gave birth to a child and abandoned him. You know, child abandonment is a crime.
The neighbors were already waking up one by one, stretching their necks to catch a glimpse of the commotion. I stared at him. Then, in the next breath, I yanked off my slipper and swung it straight across his face. You shameless old man! You dare show up at my door and frame me? I don't even have a boyfriend. And you claim I had a baby? Have you ever seen a woman who just gave birth and can still fight like this? Do I look like I just had a baby? My blows came so fast. He was left speechless. Across the hall, my neighbor, Mrs. Marjorie Hale, finally reacted.
That's right. Lynn goes to work every single day. I've never seen her with a pregnant belly. Did he get the wrong person? I recognize him. Isn't he the doctor from that shady clinic on Meadow Street?
Hands on my hips, I shouted.
You filthy crook! Running a sleazy clinic and trying to scam me? Call the cops! Call them!
The moment he heard my words, Dr. Price panicked.
I won't argue with you.
I grabbed him by the collar. You don't want to argue. But there's no way I'm letting you walk away. Then I grabbed the phone and dialed. Call the police. Someone is trafficking a baby. Stop talking nonsense. You can explain everything when the police arrive. If you don't, I'll smash your clinic myself. Heaven had given me another chance. Every humiliation, every injustice from my last life, I was unleashing them all now. By the time the police arrived, Dr. Price was standing there with bruises on his face, holding a newborn baby. I stood in my pajamas, clutching a slipper, seething, when the officers heard what happened and saw the infant with its umbilical cord still attached. They were stunned.
What is going on here? Tell the truth.
Pulling a medical record from his pocket, the officer checked it. The address was mine, and the name matched mine. I crossed my arms. I don't know anything about this. Someone must have used my name to give birth, and is now trying to dump the baby on me. The moment the words left my mouth, my parents appeared in the doorway.
Lynn, since you don't want to get married anyway, why don't you take him in?
Said my mother, Elaine Sawyer. My father, Richard Sawyer, nodded urgently.
It would be better if you just raised him.
Mom, Dad, what are you talking about? How could I casually adopt a child with no known background? We don't even know who his parents are. What if they're addicts? Bad genes get passed down? I'm not raising a future ingrate. My parents froze, struck speechless. Dr. Price's expression soured. He shoved the baby into my arms.
This is your family's child. I'm done. Tell Sophie Sayer to raise her own son. If I'd known your family was this unreasonable, I wouldn't have come!
Immediately, the crowd erupted in shock. Everyone now knew that my younger sister, Sophie, was the mother of the baby boy.
That's bullshit. First, you say the baby is mine. Now you say he's Sophie's. Do you have any proof? Without evidence, you think you can dump a child on us?
Not planning to deal with him any further. Mom stared at me in shock.
Lynn!
Mom, Dad, stop being naive. There are scammers everywhere these days. Mrs. Hale chimed in beside us.
Richard Elaine, don't spout nonsense. This doctor came up saying the baby was Lynn's, and now suddenly it's Sophie's. He's full of lies.
Exactly. Who knows where he picked that child up?
I've run my clinic for years. Why would I scam anyone? Last night, your younger sister, Sophie, came running into my clinic begging me to deliver her baby. I even have the phone she
He
pawned.
reached into the bag slung over his shoulder and pulled out a watch. At one glance, I recognized it instantly. It was Sophie's. My parents froze. There was no denying it now. The baby was Sophie's. The neighbors erupted instantly.
Sophie, she's so young. She actually had a child. Who's the father?
Who knows? She barely shows her face around here. I really didn't expect she was pregnant. Probably hooked up with some delinquent and had this child in secret.
Don't you talk nonsense! My daughter is perfectly fine.
This time, Mom shot up, furious.
Say that again! I'll tear your mouth apart!
Dr. Price nodded.
Please. Sophie told me herself. After she gave birth, she wanted the baby brought here so her sister could raise him. Officers, I even have a letter she wrote.
He pulled out an envelope. In my last life, this letter never existed. When Sophie came back and publicly condemned me, Dr. Price had even stepped forward to help her, forcing me into a dead end. This scumbag was never a good person. Dr. Price curled his lip.
If I'd known this would happen, I wouldn't have come. What bad luck.
The officers sighed.
This is a family matter. You all should handle it yourselves.
I grabbed Officer Daniel Brooks by the arm. This is not a family matter. You're basing everything on a watch and a letter and concluding that my sister gave birth and ran away? What if she died in the clinic? That made the officers pause. It sounded plausible enough that they immediately escorted Dr. Price back to his clinic. My parents hurried after them. I rushed inside to pack. I was never staying in this house. Not again. When I stepped outside with my luggage, my neighbor, Mrs. Marjorie Hale, spotted me.
Lynn, where are you going?
I'm moving out. Before this child ends up dumped on my parents again and I get stuck raising him. If Sophia wanted to have an illegitimate child, that's her problem. Not mine. I'm not even married. If my future in-laws see this, they'll think I was sleeping around.
The neighbors nodded furiously.
That's right, Lynn. You have to think about yourself. What a mess. Sophie really has guts, having a baby and running off.
Who knows? Maybe Dr. Price did something to her.
No way!
I didn't bother listening to the rest. I left as quickly as possible. By the time my parents returned, I had already moved into the company dorms. Not long after, the phone rang. It was Mom. The moment I picked up, her voice was frantic.
Lynn, where did you run off to?
A baby's cries echoed loudly in the background. I moved out.
How could you move out? If you move out, what about the baby?
It seemed my parents had gone to the clinic and confirmed the baby really was Sophie's, and that scumbag Dr. Price had indeed delivered her child. However, I still couldn't understand why they insisted on forcing the child onto me.
Mom, what does this baby have to do with me? I didn't give birth to him.
The urgent thing is to find the father. Anyway, I'm going to work. Hanging up. I ended the call and went to the office as usual. Just as I sat down, Miss Christine Harper quietly approached my desk.
Lynn, do you have a boyfriend? I want to introduce someone to you.
I had planned to refuse, but changed my mind. Sure, Christine. Who are you introducing me to?
My nephew. He's 3 years older than you, a veteran, and now he runs his own little restaurant. Want to grab lunch together today?
I agreed right away. Christine was thrilled and immediately called her nephew. In my previous life, after I ended up raising a child, Christine saw how exhausted I was and introduced me to side jobs, even suggesting I find a man. I had refused. because I didn't want the little Caleb to suffer. Thinking about it now, I had been pitifully stupid. I met Christine's nephew, Evan Harper, for lunch. Our first impression of each other was pretty good. We added each other on social media and decided to get to know each other gradually. When Christine returned and asked me, I nodded. Pretty good. We'll keep talking. She was ecstatic.
I'm telling you, if it works out, he won't treat you badly. I watched that boy grow up. He's hardworking.
My face flushed, which only made Christine more excited. Just like that. Evan and I started dating. For half a week, my parents didn't contact me, and I didn't go home. I never expected Mom to show up at my office instead. That day, while I was working, Joel Turner from security called me.
Lynn, you need to come out here right now. Come take the baby away. He's crying nonstop.
My mind exploded.
What, son? I'm not even married. What, son? Don't talk nonsense.
I raised my voice on purpose so the entire office could hear. Joel sounded helpless.
How should I know? Just come down and look.
The moment I hung up, everyone stared at me.
What happened? Lynn?
I don't know.
Security said someone claiming to be my mom brought my son here.
Christine gasped.
What? Are you serious? That's wild. Come on, let's go check.
Yeah. Is someone trying to scam you or what? What?
Lean has a son. She never looked pregnant.
Maybe she had him years ago. Who knows? These days, young people's private lives are messy.
Hearing that, even Christine gave me a doubtful look. I played dumb, and she couldn't see any flaw. At the gate, Christine exhaled deeply.
How could this be Lynn's? This baby isn't even a month old.
Exactly. Whoever did this is vicious. If the kid were older,
Lynn would have never been able to clear her name.
This is ruining her reputation.
I sneered internally. Joel added, exasperated.
But I don't know anything.
Call the police. That woman is not my mom, and I don't know her.
Everyone hesitated a little. I spread my hands. I work in sales, and I've handed out business cards everywhere. Who knows who's impersonating my mom? I'm not raising someone else's child. Everyone agreed this made sense. So we called the police. When they arrived, even made sure to ask, where are you sending him?
Where else? If we can't find the parents, he'll be placed in a welfare center.
Hearing that, I finally felt relief wash through me. In this lifetime, I was never going to raise that ungrateful drat again. Right after the police left, the phone rang. It was Mom.
Lynn, Sophie contacted us. She said she's working out of town.
Mom said, her voice tired and pleading.
We're getting old and really can't raise the baby. Just treat him as your own, okay?
I took a deep breath and replied firmly, Mom, what are you talking about? I already have a boyfriend, and I'll eventually have children of my own after marriage. I absolutely will not take this child. I didn't mention what happened today, and she didn't bring it up either. So I pretended nothing happened. Evan truly treated me well. 6 months later, we got engaged. On our wedding day, I invited my parents and relatives. After that, we applied to transfer to the branch office, and Evan moved his restaurant there too. From then on, except during holidays, I never went back. Even when I did, I only stayed long enough to show my face. I gave birth to a daughter, Ava Harper, and 2 years later, to a son, Miles Harper, completing the perfect little family. Miles was smart from an early age. At 15, he was accepted into the youth program at Sterling University. When the news came, the whole family was overjoyed. Evan was especially proud. He took the kids and me back to our hometown to celebrate a banquet. Relatives and friends all came. Even my parents showed up. Although Miles was only 15, he was tall, well-built, and was almost Ava's height. This immediately made my parents assume he was Sophie's child. Mom tapped Miles's hand.
If Sophie knew her son turned out this outstanding, she'd be so happy. Mom, why mention Sophie on such a happy day? Did she come back?
Mom's eyes flickered.
No! She didn't come back.
She hasn't returned all these years to even see you and Dad. Something must have happened. I heard people who vanish like that usually never get found.
I had heard plenty of relatives gossip about Sophie over the years. With my nudges and the story spread among the neighbors, everyone knew Sophie had given birth and run away, never returning for the holidays or anything. Everyone assumed she'd disappeared off the face of the earth, but only I knew that my parents kept in touch with her secretly. Hearing my comment now, Mom's face twisted with displeasure. Her sharp voice cut across the entire hall.
What nonsense are you talking about? Sophie is perfectly fine!
Instantly, everyone nearby turned to look. Mom's embarrassment was obvious. I smiled lightly.
So you're still in touch with her. Why doesn't she come see her son, Caleb? She abandoned her own child. She must not be doing well. Forget it. I won't talk about her today. It's a happy occasion.
Mom finally breathed a sigh of relief. She opened her mouth as if wanting to explain, and I waited, but she still said nothing. Every last bit of hope I had evaporated completely. In my past life, when that ungrateful brat Caleb achieved success, Sophie came back. This time would be no different. I knew she'd show up today, though I wasn't sure exactly when. By now, I didn't care. With Miles's achievement of getting into the youth program, representatives from Sterling University had also come, along with reporters. Everyone's attention was now on our table, except for my parents. Miles walked offstage as the star of the event. On stage, Miles spoke in a clear voice.
Getting into Sterling University, the person I'm most grateful for is Mom. Without her support and understanding, I would never be who I am today.
When he stood there, my parents had no awareness whatsoever that he was only 15.
Dean. Mom, come on up!
Miles waved toward me, and I smoothed my dress, ready to walk up when a sharp voice suddenly cut through the hall.
She's not your mother! She's not worthy of standing up there!
At that moment, everyone turned towards the source of the voice. I exhaled slowly. She finally came. I turned my head and saw Sophie with a middle-aged man wearing a thick gold chain standing beside her. She'd come. At last. I couldn't suppress the nervous tremor inside me. After more than 10 years, she still looked the same, yet exhaustion clung to her. Compared to me, she looked worn, the heavy makeup unable to hide the fine lines at the corners of her eyes. She entered the hall holding the man's arm. Miles frowned tightly.
And you are?
Miles frowned tightly. I said before she could answer, stating her identity clearly. Sophie shot back immediately, voice trembling with emotion.
Lynn, stop lying. Son, I am your real mother.
The whole hall erupted, everyone staring at me in shock. Miles raised an eyebrow.
You're the one lying, Aunt Sophie. Mom gave birth to me. You had a son and ran away. Grandma and Grandpa were the ones raising him.
I had never hidden Sophie's existence. When the kids were young and asked about their grandparents, I told them the truth that yes, my parents were alive, but I didn't want to return home. I also told them that Sophie had given birth and that my parents had tried to force me to raise her baby. The Harpers knew everything about the conflict between Sophie and me. Sophie burst into tears.
Son, she tricked you. She lied. After I gave birth, I told the doctor to take you to the Sawyer's house for your grandparents to watch. But she stole you from them. All these years, she stayed away because she was afraid you'd find out. Lynn, why would you do this? I've been searching for my child all these years. You can't separate a mother from her son like this.
Everyone stared at her now. Sophie sobbed uncontrollably until she realized something was wrong. She looked around and noticed everyone eyeing her with disgust. Panic flashed across her face.
Why don't you believe me? It's true. She's the one.
No way.
Mrs. Hale stepped forward.
Sophie, don't start spouting nonsense. Back then, Dr. Price brought the baby here and said he was Lynn's son. After Lynn hit him, he changed his story and said the baby was yours. He only admitted the truth after the police were called. You gave birth and ran away, leaving the baby with your parents. 2 elderly people couldn't raise him, so they abandoned him.
Sophie froze, stunned. Mom jumped up immediately.
I didn't abandon him. I sent someone to deliver him to Lynn's office.
Mrs. Hale curled her lip.
I went to Lynn's wedding. I didn't see a child anywhere. Exactly. Richard and Elaine, you can't make things up now.
Mom panicked.
I found someone to bring the baby to Lynn's office. Sophie, don't get confused. Lynn raised your child for so many years. You should be thanking her. Look at him. He even got into Sterling University.
She was terrified this mess wouldn't resolve cleanly, and when she caught the look in my eyes, fear crept into her expression. She changed her tune instantly. Sophie wiped her tears and turned to me.
Lynn, I must have misunderstood, but son, I really am your mother.
My mother-in-law, Diane Harper, stepped forward. Without hesitation, she slapped Sophie hard across the face.
What the hell are you talking about? My daughter-in-law carried child for 9 months and gave birth to him. From her first prenatal checkup to the delivery, everything is documented. She hemorrhaged during childbirth and almost died. Ridgeview Regional Medical Center saved her. Do you know how many connections we have to pull?
And you dare open your mouth and claim you gave birth to my grandson? Aren't you ashamed?
My father-in-law, Harold Harper, stepped forward as well, shouting,
Say one more word of nonsense and I'll call the police to have you arrested.
Sophie's lips trembled. Her face was swollen from the slap, and she shrank back in fear. Suddenly, she stared at me. I raised an eyebrow. Then she seemed to understand.
It's you, Lynn! You faked everything!
The man with the heavy gold chain beside her, named Victor Grant, growled.
Your family is loaded now. I heard you even open restaurants all the way to Ridgeview City. All of this stuff can be falsified. The only thing that can prove anything is a paternity test. We'll take the boy for a DNA test, then everything will be clear.
However, Miles didn't hesitate.
I refuse.
While my in-laws stood protectively in front of us, my parents stood on Sophie's side.
Lynn,
Mom pleaded.
give the child back to your sister.
Yes.
Dad added.
Sophie's had it so hard out there all these years. You already have 2 kids. Let her take theirs back.
Everyone turned toward us, whispering.
What's going on? Did she steal her sister's child and now doesn't want to give him back?
You can't just sever bonds after more than 10 years. They're sisters, they're family. That's bullshit. They already said he's her biological son. How could she give him away?
Someone asked.
Sophie, you keep saying he's yours. Do you have proof? Does the boy have a birthmark or something? Elaine, Richard, did you personally see Lynn take that baby?
The 2 of them froze, completely stunned. I let out a cold laugh. Forgot to mention something. My son is only 15 this year, and he was admitted to the Sterling University Young Innovators program. If your son were alive, he would be about 18. The ages don't match. You picked the wrong boy.
The crowd reacted instantly.
That's right. Miles is 15. I remember going to the baby shower.
Yes, that's right. Miles is the younger one. Lynn had him in her 3rd year of marriage.
Elaine, Richard, she didn't invite you back then. Oh, I remember now.
My parents' faces turned an ugly shade.
Sophie staggered backward, staring at me in disbelief.
You're lying. I get it. You don't want to give him back, so you purposely registered him with a younger age.
Everyone burst into mocking laughter. They all thought Sophie had gone mad.
Just then, Professor Helen Ward from Sterling University stepped forward.
You're the one lying. If what you're saying were true, his admission to the Young Innovators program would be revoked immediately. I will report this to the Department of Education. And I will also request a police investigation because Miles Harper was 15 when he applied.
Miles pulled out his ID card.
I'm willing to take a paternity test with you, and I'm willing to file a police report. But if I'm not your son, you will bear the consequences. I will never forgive you for spreading lies, slandering me, and defacing my mom.
Miles had always been sensible from a young age. My in-laws treated me well. My daughter, Ava, stepped up beside me.
You people keep accusing my mom. Other than your mouths, what proof do you have? My mom has her medical records, her birth documents, her household registration, and her ID. What do you have?
Mom's face turned pale. She stared at me.
You're lying, Lynn. If Miles is really your biological son, then where is Sophie's baby?
I spread my hands. He's probably at a welfare center. I pretended to have just remembered something. Right. 18 years ago, when I was at work, a security guard told me someone claiming to be Mom had brought my so-called son and wanted me to take him. When I went down and checked the surveillance footage, I realized I didn't know that woman at all. So I called the police. They took the baby away and probably sent him to a welfare center. My ropers can confirm it. If you don't believe me, you can check the police report. Sophie let out a scream and lunged at me.
Ah, you vicious bitch! I'll kill you!
But I reacted faster and slapped her across the face.
Clutching her cheek, she scrambled to her feet.
You dare hit me! Lynn, give me back my son!
I let out a cold laugh.
You had the nerve to give birth illegitimately and run. Then dump the kid on me, expecting me to raise him for you. You spent more than 10 years partying while I carried the burden. And now that my son is successful, you want to come back and take the credit? Let me tell you, you'll never have that chance. Someone like you, a total academic failure, could never give birth to a genius like my son. Keep dreaming.
Why don't you ask Mom who she hired to take that baby to my company? Why didn't she bring him herself?
Mom panicked.
I was afraid Lynn wouldn't want to see me, so I paid someone she didn't know to deliver the baby. I hid nearby and clearly see Lynn holding the child.
Then she turned toward me.
Lynn, how could you be so heartless and send the child away? He was your own nephew!
And he was your own grandson. How could you not care?
Sophie shrieked hysterically.
Shut up! All of you! My son is Miles Harper! It's him!
Lynn, you tricked me.
You must have!
Beside her, Victor growled.
How could a son of mine end up in a welfare center?
Sophia, if you don't give me an explanation today, I won't let you go.
Sophie finally panicked. I went to the front desk and called the police. Even after the officers arrived, they couldn't calm her down. She rolled around on the floor, screaming. In the end, I agreed to take a blood type test and requested it be expedited. Miles returned to continue attending his celebration party. I assured the representative from Sterling University that there would absolutely be no issue, and that all of my son's documentation was genuine. 2 hours later, the serological test results came back. The moment she saw them, Sophie collapsed. The results showed that Sophie's blood type could not possibly match Miles, while mine was consistent with his.
You really sent my baby to a welfare center?
How could I raise some random child you tried to force on me? I've told you 1,000 times. When you hand a child to the police, they send him to a welfare center. If he was lucky, he stayed there, and maybe you can still find him. If he wasn't lucky, maybe he got adopted halfway through. If I were you, I would go to the welfare center right now. Before she could react, Victor slapped her so hard she flew to the ground.
You filthy woman! You told me you'd give me a son! Now you don't even know where the child is, you worthless piece of trash!
He kicked her viciously in the side. Sophie screamed. My parents rushed to protect her, but they were no match for him. Only then did Mom think of me.
Lynn, please, help your sister! Are you just gonna stand here and watch her get beaten to death?
I yanked my arm away. Didn't you stand there and watch Sophie push me to the edge of death too?
If I didn't have evidence today, I'd be branded a child trafficker. I'd be finished. You gave birth to both of us. Why did you treat me like this?
Mom panicked.
Lynn, why are you being so petty? We're all one family. You are comfortable. What's wrong with raising one more child?
I should never have held on to even a shred of hope for them. I pulled my hand away. Sorry. I can't help. Either call the police or handle it yourselves. I'm done with this. With the blood test results in hand, I turned to the police. I demand a public apology and compensation for the emotional distress caused by today's events. She ruined my son's celebration party. I would absolutely not let her off the hook. Evan called our attorney to handle the case, and we returned to attend the rest of Miles' celebration. The representative from Sterling University finally relaxed after seeing the paternity report. At least my son's future wouldn't be destroyed. When the party ended, we headed back to the restaurant. Evan had already bought a house in the area. The next morning, my parents called me, crying.
Lynn, please come with us to the welfare center. We're begging you. For your mother's sake, help Sophie. She's going to be beaten to death.
I glanced at Evan, who nodded, so I agreed, together to the welfare center. When we saw Sophie, her face was covered in injuries. It was swollen, bruised, and battered. The moment she looked at me, a flash of hatred appeared in her eyes. I gave her a cold, humorless smile. She brought this on herself. It had nothing to do with me. When we asked the welfare center staff about her son, they told us the child had long since run away.
Ran away? What do you mean? Petty theft. Multiple incidents.
After graduating from trade school, he didn't continue studying. He started dating early. If you're looking for him, he works at a hot dog stall in Rotterdam Street. When we arrived at the food street, we saw Liam Brooks sitting behind a small food stall playing games on his phone. He was only 18, yet he already had a 3-year-old kid. What kind of life was this? The woman looked easily over 30. Sophie wobbled forward and asked,
Are you Liam Brooks?
Without lifting his head, he replied,
Yeah.
Who are you? Sophie shot back. Who are you? Sophie exploded.
He's only 18! You're past 30!
Tara slammed the ketchup bottle down.
So what? The baby in my belly is his.
Sophie nearly fainted.
You've even been divorced? You old hag!
Taste with it.
You dare call me an old hag! You're the old one! Beaten to a pulp. Come beat her.
Liam jumped up and, without hesitation, slapped Sophie so hard she was stunned. Then Victor rushed out from behind us.
What the hell are you doing, kid?
Seeing the gold chain, girlfriend.
No way someone like you is my son. Must be a mistake.
I pulled out the welfare center's photo and compared it to Liam. It matched perfectly. No mistake. Liam, these are your biological parents.
Liam stared at them in disbelief.
No way!
If you don't believe it, go get a blood type. Look at your mom and dad.
Their clothes alone scream money. Liam's eyes lit up instantly. Over.
See? These are my mom and dad. Sorry, I didn't recognize you earlier. My mistake.
Sophie looked at them with disgust and stammered.
Impossible! How could you be my son?
I watched the drama unfold with amusement. Sophie, how can you say that? You've been gone more than 10 years. You came back specifically to find your biological son. Now that he's standing right in front of you, how can you deny him? Evan added fuel to the fire.
You kept insisting your son was the most outstanding. Well, here he is. Don't say things that hurt his feelings.
Sophie nearly fainted from our words. I nudged Liam lightly. Come on, tell your mom and dad to take you out to dinner. And make sure you all get that blood test done. Time to return to your roots. Last night, Evan had already asked people to run checks on Victor. His big gold chain was fake, and he wasn't some businessman. He was just a freeloading bum drifting around. He had achieved nothing over the years and had only come to scam money from our family. However, he never expected I wouldn't give him even the tiniest opportunity. Now, looking at his biological son, the dyed red-haired delinquent standing in front of him, Victor was stunned. I wasn't about to let him off easily. I didn't relax. Until both sides came back from the blood testing lab with the serological reports. Bad genes should stay together. My parents were shocked and speechless. Standing before them was a thug. Tara was divorced, too. Their whole bodies trembled with fury. We returned them to my parents' old house. Then Evan and I left. Sophie panicked, but it was far too late. Since Sophie had no place to stay, she had nowhere else to go either. Mrs. Hale told me their place had been utter chaos. Liam insisted on a $20,000 cash settlement before the wedding, bringing the total to over $30,000. There was no way my parents could afford that. Sophie and Victor just wanted to scam me. They didn't expect me to have prepared everything in advance and simply return the useless spawn to them. Now they regretted everything. But I wasn't anyone's fool. I wasn't cleaning up their mess. When my parents couldn't give Liam any money, Liam grabbed a stick and beat Victor mercilessly. When my parents tried to intervene, they were struck too. Dad collapsed unconscious on the spot. Mom was shoved down the stairs and broke her leg. Sophie tried to run, but Liam broke her arm. When I arrived at the hospital, they were all lying there, wailing. Mom grabbed my hand.
Lynn, I was wrong. I was wrong. Please help us. Get him out of the house.
Mom, how could I do that? He's Sophie's biological son. Your biological grandson. He turned out this way because he grew up without parents. You must give him all your love and guide him back onto the right path.
Mom's face drained of all hope. I pulled my hand away, paid their medical bills, and walked off. Clutching her broken arm, Sophie asked me for money. Without hesitation, I shoved her out of the way.
You and I have nothing to do with each other. You ruined my son's celebration party and slandered and defaced me. I haven't even settled that debt. And now you want money from me? Dream on.
In my previous life, I died trapped in their schemes. In this life, I would never fall for them again. After I left, my parents kept wailing behind me. From time to time, Mrs. Hal passed along updates. She said Leah refused to leave their home and treated it like his own, while my parents had become his live-in servants, and that sealed my parents and Sophie's fate. They couldn't escape even if they wanted to. Liam demanded money from them constantly. If they refused, he beat them. He forced Sophie to set up a hot dog cart just to bring in cash. In the end, the entire family worked only to support his spending. A wretched family, all rotting together. Perfect. 6 months later, Evan and I returned to our hometown to deal with our property. We planned to sell the house and settle permanently in the capital with Miles and Ava. I saw Sophie again. In just half a year, she looked more than 10 years older. Her hair was streaked with gray. The moment she saw me, she rushed forward.
Lynn! Isn't how it's supposed to be! It wasn't supposed to be like this! You weren't supposed to survive that fall! All your money should have been mine! It's all mine!
She chased after our car, screaming so fiercely it tore her voice apart. I curled my lips into a cold smile. So she had been reborn as well, but her second chance came at the wrong moment. In this lifetime, she would never be able to hurt me again. Let her spend the rest of her days with her worthless son.